Hi guys, and welcome back to SwitchUp. Thanks so much to all the new subscribers. Glen and I are absolutely delighted with the way the channel's going, and we seem to have such a good community here. We're going to look at the upcoming games for the next week. There's a few nice titles in there, but they are quite expensive, and I think most of us are pretty much broke for the rest of this month.
Yeah, maybe not so many high-profile games as in previous weeks, bar one or two, but certainly some interesting ones to have a look at least.
So hard to see from the moment we arrive.
Coming up this week is Final Fantasy XII. Now, we've had the other ones, our review of Final Fantasy VII's on the channel if you're interested in that, but it is nice that we're getting these on the Nintendo Switch. I'm just still a little bit sore that we're not getting number 8.
When time's been bad, you put smiles on everyone. I think of you and of all I should have done. You told me the thing would shape or form that you're in.
Lovely, right, next one we have then is Tabletop Racing World Tour. Now this one has been out on the PS4 for a little while and I've played a bit of it on there, and it also releases with a pre-order discount of about 20%. I suppose in some respects you could class it as a Micro Machines-esque racer, although it doesn't have the top-down perspective of that particular series.
Sweet. It also has a rather large amount of Yo Sushi advertising in it, which is quite odd.
But don't you agree? With beating hearts, we're still alive.
The next game is from a developer called Sometimes You. Now, fair play to these guys, they've released so many different styles of games since the Switch was released, and once again they haven't let us down. It looks completely different to their last effort that we actually reviewed, which was Blood Waves. It looks to be an endless runner. I'm not going to say this one looks particularly interesting, but we'll ask for a code, and if it's any good, we'll be sure to let you know.
Lovely stuff. Right, next one we have, and this I would say is probably our pick of the week. Would you say that's fair, Mark?
Definitely.
It's called The Swords of Ditto, Mormo's Curse. Now, we've just watched the trailer of this one. It reminds me a little bit of Itlju in terms of the art style, not so much the gameplay. It's an action RPG by the looks of it. Has a very quirky sense of humour as well, I would say. Another game that's coming out with 20% off at launch, which makes it £10.79 or $11.99. Have a look at the trailer on this one on the eShop. I reckon this one could cause a few waves.
Yeah, Glenn, this looks lovely. It also has 2-player co-op. You can do the entire adventure together, and if you aren't so good as your partner, they can give you, and I quote, a revival hug. Doesn't that sound nice, Glenn? I'll keep my distance. The next game to look at this week is Giga Wrecker Alt, and it's published by Rising Star Games and developed by the legendary Game Freak, known for the mainline Pokemon series. This looks like a real amalgamation of a few different genres, but the thing that really caught my eye is the physics-based nature of those puzzles.
Yeah, so you need to create weapons based on the wreckage that you find around the levels, and then use that wreckage or those weapons to complete puzzles and complete the stage. I did a little bit of research into this one, and I heard that within Game Freak they have a Gear Project initiative, which is where developers within Game Freak form teams and submit proposals for games they would like to make, and this actually stems from that proposal.
Nice.
That's quite interesting. The next one is called VA11 Hall A, or Valhalla Cyberpunk Bartender Action. This looks quite similar to a game that released a couple of weeks back called The Red Strings Club, that was from Devolver Digital. The basic premise, so I'm led to believe, is that you are a bartender and you need to create drinks for your clients, and the story will branch in certain directions based on the drinks you make them, and I'm assuming the impact that those drinks have on those particular clients. I'll be honest, anything with the word cyberpunk grabs my attention straight away. This looks really interesting. At a price of £10.99, I think it's one I'll be keeping an eye on.
Lovely. I'm pretty sure this publisher were the same one that worked on that postmodern RPG that was released. It looked quite interesting, but we never got round to reviewing it. The next title is Strike Suit Zero Director's Cut from Born Ready Games. Now, it looks to be a bit of a mechs in space come space shooter with some upgrade mechanics thrown in as well for good measure. There does seem to be a mission structure here as well, but to my eye it looks a lot more action oriented than a game like Everspace, which we recently reviewed. Now, I am, as I just said to Glen, a massive space nerd, so I'll definitely be checking this one out.
Okay, next game then is a game called Black Paradox. This is a shoot 'em up from Digerati. Now, it does look really nice. The graphics are certainly interesting and stand out, and the vehicle that you command looks very much like the DeLorean in Back to the Future Part 2. What I will say though is there are a lot of shoot 'em ups on the Switch so far, a lot of good shoot 'em ups, Blazing Star being my favourite. So although I'm optimistic based on the trailer we've just watched, it's a very crowded market and it will have to be good to stand out.
Okay, the last game that I'm going to focus on is Shadows of Adam from Circle Entertainment. Now, this is very much like an old Final Fantasy title, but they've really made it their own. Everything from the dialogue boxes, the colour of them is Final Fantasy, to the music. But from the couple of hours that I've played so far, there's a few nice elements in there as well. I liked in the turn-based combat sections where they used a more Chrono Trigger approach, where you're fighting from the bottom upwards. There's some nice synergistic attacks you can do between your characters.
Lovely, right, last game for this week then. How do you reckon you stand out on an eShop that's full of games?
I know, do the exact same style as another game.
I was going to go for have the most ridiculous name ever, but...
Helmet?
Helmet.
Helmet's a nice name.
The badass from hell. Amazing name. Right, this one looks like Enter the Gungeon, let's be honest, yeah. It's a dungeon crawl bullet shooter. It looks good, I'm not disputing that at all. What I will say though, it's just about £15 more expensive than Gungeon, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's going to have to be really good, let's be fair. If you want to emulate another game, by all means do so, but if you're going to be more expensive than that game, you've got to smash it, haven't you?
Got to smash it. Lovely. So there you have it. That's our top picks for this week. Let us know down in the comments if we've missed any and how you're getting on with some of the great games that have been released over the last week or so. Thanks again to all of our Patreons and to the new ones. We seem to be getting a really nice little group on there as well, and we have little chats going on, as well as our Discord, which should be set up in the next day or so. Thanks as always, and for all things Switch all the time, keep it Switch up.
Yeah, as we always say, we only ever cover 10 games, so if there's any that we've missed that have caught your eye, please do put them in the comment section below and we'll have a look at them. And as always, happy gaming.
See ya!